Hello everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having an amazing day. We're going to take a look at Avalanche here, kind of see what's going on, of course, help us understand best practice, big picture, and what's going to happen next. It's obviously doing very well today. I can see why I got a lot of requests. So thank you to my community members and others for effectively asking that I cover this. I greatly appreciate your support. Taking a look here at Avalanche, just before we jump in, I want to kind of note that we have simple moving averages below the price action, which is great because that should continue to maintain this price action higher. That's a very, very good sign. When we look at the RSI, we're above 50 and under 70. We're not quite overextended yet, but you can see 70 on the RSI will likely be $100 as an even number there as a potential resistance. So just be mindful of the fact that we could see a pullback here soon based on that sentiment. But if it were to break through, just say, for example, the most recent high, which is essentially $100, and retrace, which is very common, it'll typically consolidate at that previous resistance, right? So establishing as a new support. So be on the lookout for the price kind of breaking $100 and essentially coming back down to $100 to consolidate and add to its volume and then build up from there. It's a very common characteristic. Solana did this recently. Matic is forming that as well, and we're in pretty good shape here all in all. So Avalanche is looking good. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at TD sequential. We got a reset. We're up to a 5. We technically have potential of 5 more days of continuation, or 4 to 7, somewhere in there, to the upside. So is this going to retrace? Perhaps. Will it significantly retrace? Probably not, because if you look at the recent high, in other words, the price had trouble passing $91.50. That's the new support level. So 91.50 should be a pretty strong support in that sense. So worst case, we see a channel sideways between 91.50 and $100 to build that base of volume and continue higher. Speaking of volume, let's take a look at the 4 hours, kind of see fairly consistent volume. Nothing really much to note there. We can obviously tell if we look at a larger profile that there's a lot of volume at this price point of about $86. So that's a nice steady foundation too. So in case we lose 91.50, we can rest assured that $86 is probably the likely bottom. And the ways in which we might see that is if Bitcoin were to sell or retrace down to 45,000, for example, we might see Avalanche correct itself like that. All right, so just be mindful of that. Try not to be naive in the sense that Bitcoin may not misbehave, because it commonly does. So just be aware of that. But this is showing very good strength because Bitcoin's not performing like this. This breakout to the upside is different than Bitcoin, and that's important to acknowledge. We're stuck under 70 in the RSI. I wouldn't say stuck. Honestly, that's pretty much synonymous once again with 100. So we could very well break through this. We do have a MACD convergence, for lack of better terms, kind of a bounce. So all in all, we got some green lights here essentially to take a position, or had some green lights, of course, to take a position. If we look at the cloud, there's a great chance we are fully above. So we've got a nice Ichimoku cloud break above, and of course, lagging spans free and clear. So am I telling you to FOMO in now? I wouldn't say you should, but on the same accord, it wouldn't be terrible to add to your position at this point, or maybe consider taking a small position. I don't think it's going to shoot to the moon tomorrow, but I do think that we could likely break $100 in the relative near future, and if so, consolidate at that price point to continue to move higher. And this is a common characteristic, right? So the price come up, come back down, kind of do one of these for a little while at the support, previous resistance once more, and then continue higher from there, right? A lot of times lately, we've been seeing these pennant type patterns as a result of that. So just be on the lookout for it. Right now at this point though, the cloud is telling us that we have a position open. You want to keep it open. Don't bother taking profits just yet. Even though this is a pretty significant 1 hour candle, it's not terrible and detrimental. And if you look at the volume weighted average price, we can see it's not really too far outside of the standard deviation lines. And that's really helpful to understand, because the fact that if you're within those standard deviation lines, it means there's volume to support that. And if we have volume here at Avalanche, which again isn't anything larger than before, well, we're still going to be able to maintain this price action and continue higher. So again, if you start to see a diminished amount of volume in the near future, I would say Avalanche would be a potential retracement at that point. But between now and then, we're really in good shape. Overall, I do not see anything really adverse here for Avalanche. Looking very good. So that being said, that's kind of my 2 cents. I hope you learned something here today. Just a quick little understanding where we're at. Also best case scenario, big picture. Just so you know, because I got the question like, how much higher could this go? If we look at the current levels, right? So if we take March 14th into consideration, it's roughly 2 weeks, a little over. So in 16 days, we've seen the price increase by about 48%. So in order for it to get that same distance, that same amount, another 32% increase from here, we could very well see that in the next 2 to 3 weeks. All right, so just be mindful of that. Avalanche does look like it's starting to build, and if you keep in mind too, This level here at about 133 is very, very close, right around 135, is the all-time high on the one-day candlestick close, all right? So again, we could very well break all-time high, and then at that point we'll have a different conversation because we'll be in price discovery. And at that point, it's very fun, very exciting to be able to kind of see that unfold. For now, Avalanche is looking good though. I would give it 2 thumbs up if we're going to go with the score, and all good things. But I wouldn't expect a 2x, right? We just got to be realistic there. You have a position open, leave it open. If you're going to take a long, a swing trade, I would expect maybe 20-30% until we get to that high and see where we go from there. Thanks again for joining me here. Once again, I hope you have a great rest of your day. If you're not currently a community member, CryptoCache.tech is a site. I look forward to working with you. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you.